Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Mindset Coach.
I'm Sandra Priestley. What kind of coach am I today?
What are you?
I think I'm an empowerment coach, but we'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
I
Like it.
really feel like, I don't know, I can't stick to a name. I can't stick to what I am, but empowerment seems to fit me better. I do love to help empower women to be the best that they can be, like, and have the best day
Yeah.
ever every day, So anyway, but
So
happy Thursday.
happy Thursday. What you drinking
I
today?
am drinking a combo
Mm.
of decaf and regular coffee.
Oh,
I had a bit
living
of a
on the
headache.
edge.
I'm living on the edge. I had a bit of a headache today, and so I thought I'll just have a little bit of both. But I am drinking it in my
Oh,
brand new The Cool Mom mug from
uh-huh.
I love it so much. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but I just had this thing about gold handled
Mm.
mugs.
Did not know
I,
that.
it just feels so magical, right? Like, who
Mhm.
doesn't want to drink out of something special?
Right. And what does it say in the bottom?
That's all. In the
That's
bottom of
all.
the cup, that's all. The cool mom, that's all. Or that's all. There's no more coffee. I don't know, but it's
A
cute.
refill.
Oh, too.
Nice.
Love it. What are
I'm
you
glad you
drinking?
love it.
Oh, it's so much fun.
So today I'm drinking out of a can.
Yay.
Yay. So I got a little buble.
Oh, blackberry. I love the blackberry.
Mm.
Yay.
So I
Okay.
figured, you know, it's been a busy week, and I thought a little buble
Yeah.
will be good
Or
for the soul.
yeah. It's good for this. Plus, it's just a cool little can.
Yeah.
I like the
And
purple.
I love Michael Bublé,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this water is now his water,
Sure.
even though it's not. That's what he
Even though it's not,
claims.
but that's what he claims. Yeah. So you
Yes.
had an amazing week. I had a transformational week. I'm going to call it a
I
transformational
like
week.
that much better.
Much better than the big steaming pile of dog shit that it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is how it felt. And I was like smearing it all over my mouth, my face,
Can I tell you something before you go on?
yeah.
You are built to handle the pressure that comes with your calling.
Oh, that almost brings tears to my eyes.
Hmm. Yep.
And it is so much the truth.
It is the truth. It is.
And I also believe why I love you and me so much is that, you know, I always feel like every lesson that I've learned somehow helps me coach women later or
Uh,
my friends,
yeah.
helps or my kids.
Hmm.
And the harder the lessons, I don't want to necessarily work with someone who just gives me lip service,
No, surface
can't
level.
relate to me at
No.
all,
Mm-mm.
And so what I find is that every client that I work with, every person that is attracted to me, somehow there's something in my life that I can relate so much that I can feel where they are.
Yeah.
And I can tell them that they're going to make it through because
Yeah.
know the path myself.
Yeah.
Um,
The destination might be different,
right, right.
but
But the feeling is the
the
same.
feeling our way through it,
Feeling the
same
way,
thing. Hmm.
yeah. And all of those, the thoughts and the fears and the finding your way through the piles of dog crap,
Yeah.
finding your way through. There's always some sort of lesson that I've learned along the way. failing my way forward kind of thing that helps someone else. So I really have sat in this past 2 weeks of crap. More so the last few days, I kind of felt like I was falling down, and I did a lot of mindset work, focused a lot on trying to get out of the fear. Like, I talk about how I am a recovering warrior. Like, I mean, at one point, I think I could have won awards for the most worries ever. Like,
Oh,
I would
all
create,
unfounded too.
oh yeah, I would create the craziest of scenarios
Yep.
in my mind in order to imagine how I would manage them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it never fucking happens the way that you think that it is anyway. So why in the hell, like I'm role playing in my mind scenarios that don't ever come true.
Yep.
So I'm practicing my body for trauma.
Mm-hmm. And your body thinks you're going through it, by the way. Your
Right.
body doesn't know the difference between what's happening and what you're telling it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it's been a weird, but as I get on this podcast and come to life here, I feel it is transformative in whatever happens.
Yeah.
And I love that quote. Like, I feel I don't know. I
You
don't
can
know.
tattoo it on your face.
I could tattoo that sucker on my face.
Uh,
But I think it's so interesting too, because we look at huge success and we only see the outcome, and we don't necessarily know the things, shifts, the troubles that we've gone through to get us on the path. I was just saying earlier before we hit record, I think that if we have this path for greatness, um, and especially explosive, fast greatness,
yeah.
sometimes a lot of shit has to shift in order to get us
Right.
there.
And it's not that it's shit coming at us that life is throwing at us. It is beliefs that are
Mhm.
outdated that
Yeah.
we need to release in order to come into who we are. Sometimes
Right.
we make it seem like, oh, I'm being punished so that then
Mhm.
I can be rewarded. That's
Mhm.
not at all what's going on. It's
It's
us
true.
outgrowing all of this bullshit that we've been
Yeah.
living and
Yes.
limiting ourselves by.
Mhm. And I think if, like, Oprah said one time, if you listen to the whispers, you don't have to hear the screams.
Yes.
And I think many times we don't listen to the whispers.
Mm.
We don't listen to those little messages. We don't connect it.
And
We're
that's,
going so much on the path that we're at,
yeah, not
believing the
now, not
bullshit that we
now.
believe. And yeah, and like following all of the what's the word? Like
Nudges.
following all of the patterns that we
Oh,
shouldn't be following. We don't listen to them.
yes. Yeah.
And
And
then all of a
that's
sudden,
God, that's source,
yeah,
that's your inner being, that's whatever you connect with. That's what that voice is
yes,
that's guiding you.
yeah,
And we
yeah.
dismiss it. And but when we don't, oh, it feels so good.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
it's like I get almost giddy when, and it doesn't even have to be a huge bang, but
yeah.
when some synchronicity happens and I'm like, if I hadn't listened to that nudge, I would have missed this moment. Was this life changing? Nope. But it felt good. And I knew in that moment I was supposed to be there for that. And there's
Mhm.
magic in that.
Just prior to this podcast, I was trying to get my shit together, get back into the vortex
Yeah.
because I had been out of it. And I was listening to Abraham, and I like channeled my inner Leigh, and I thought, okay, like I have done meditation, I've done prayer, I've done journaling. These things are like in order to work through my mindset stuff. And I
Yeah.
just felt like, fuck it. Let's let the shit go and focus on what I want. So I was channeling my inner Leigh. I turned on Abraham. And just as we were starting the podcast, she was talking, or Esther was talking about how a lot of times we have conditional happiness,
Mm-hmm.
conditional pride, like, our feelings are conditional. And so outside of ourselves, these external things are there. And we think, once I go through this, I can be excited. Once I deal with this, I can be proud.
Life is going to stop. I'm not going to move in the direction of what I want. I'm going to sit here
Mhm.
and suffer until it's resolved. And then I'm going to show up. It's a
Exactly.
crazy way to live, but we do it to some
And
extent.
I think we do. And
Uh-huh.
I have a client even who says, I just got to get out of this place. I just have to move from this city and move to another one. And then my business will flourish. I just need to get away from these people, and then my business will flourish, and then I'll
Should go
feel
with
good.
you.
Yeah, I just need to, and it's really keeping her stuck. It's really keeping
Mhm.
her in this place of, I can't take action until. And I mean, I said earlier that I attract people that I get. Like, I get her.
Yeah.
I get,
Yeah.
because I notice even the smallest things for myself. Like, I have this podcast. So let's like really just think about the podcast all day long and not do anything else to start to create or to build. I had tons and tons of time, but I wait and hold off until this is done and conditions are perfect.
Mm.
And I mean, perfect is just an illusion.
Yeah.
So and I can see it so much, even in myself, right? Like, I can't enjoy this moment until this situation is resolved. I have
But let me
felt that so
ask
many
you
times.
something.
Yeah.
What would change in your life
Oh,
if you just said, this will resolve itself, but right now I have to show up today in this way?
right.
What
Well,
would
and
that bring?
realistically, in this moment, I mean, Eckhart Tolle would tell me, in this moment, there can be bliss.
Mhm. Even though
It's only my thoughts.
it's
It's only
only
my
your
thoughts and
thoughts.
the emotions, and
Yeah.
that's it, right? The situation hasn't changed. It's just my thoughts and emotions about
Yeah.
it. And so, yeah, it was I don't know. It was a like truly
Sure.
transformational week. And I probably just, when it came out this morning, just on this podcast, when I just said transformational, it really
Mhm.
feels that way. I
Yeah.
didn't see it necessarily until it flew out of my mouth.
But see, the more things that happen and experiences that you have like this, you'll start recognizing it earlier and earlier to where
Mhm.
when the shit kind of hits the fan, you'll be like, do I want
Yeah,
to focus on this and not show up, or do I want to go be badass? Can't do both.
exactly. Exactly.
I was at a fundraiser last night, and it was amazing. It was the Children's Advocacy Center in Williamson County. It's one of their big fundraisers, and these people, it's a big community event, a big group of volunteers. They've got law enforcement and investigators. So when a child is abused or something happens, they get called in. They have resources for these kids that to get them treatment, to get them help. And it's not just to get them through the moment, it's for
Mhm.
life,
Oh,
because
wow.
some of these scars come and go, and they want to make sure these kids are healthy.
Yeah.
And the families don't have to pay for anything.
Wow.
And so it is completely funded by these generous people in the community that give their time and their money, and then these law enforcement that are really the heroes that go in, investigators. that help get whoever needs to be prosecuted or whatever taken care of so these kids are safe.
Mhm.
And so at this event, there's like 800 people there. I mean, it is a huge event.
Wow.
And the officers and the investigators are the models for the night. So they're auctioning off 20 designer handbags. So we play bingo to win these things.
Oh gosh.
And then in addition to that, there's other handbags that you are raffled off. And then like all of the police chiefs in the area, they're like, you can have lunch with them. So they're in a raffle. So the
Oh,
winner of the raffle gets to go have lunch with them.
oh my goodness.
And it's just this show. And I'm watching these people that I see at events all the time that are super buttoned up and super professional. And, they're in their role as investigator or officer or police chief or whatever it is that they are. And they show up and they're walking the catwalk with these handbags, lots of men, there's some women in there,
Huh?
music playing, dancing. And it's one of these things where you're looking at them, seeing a side of them you've never seen before. And I'm sitting there, and some of them you're like, dang, I had no idea you were so good looking. But I mean, you can tell they're good looking. But when they show up in their essence, and they were there, and you got to see them. And I thought they had a choice tonight. They could show up buttoned up and scared, and, well, I got to be professional and I've got to, or I can just show up and have fun. And these guys were getting the crowd going. I mean,
Oh,
women were hollering. I mean, and it wasn't inappropriate.
true. Yeah.
It just, you could feel the energy and you could see them show up in a way that you hadn't seen them show up before. But what was
Mhm.
another interesting piece was there were a few of them that they picked the wrong music, and that you could see their insecurity when they walked out, and their timidness, and like, I'm not quite ready to show up because this is so weird and I look ridiculous with this purse in my hand.
Yeah.
And the crowd started responding in a way to the music, like encouraging them, like, you can do this, you can, because
Oh,
and it wasn't to them. I think it was more like, oh, this guy needs some help. Let's
yeah.
all come together and push some energy to him. And you would see them being very, very nervous in the beginning, and then realizing, I've got all these people cheering for me. Show up. And they
Mhm.
would. And
Oh.
it was a neat night to remind myself that's every day. Not to
Mhm.
that extent, but we all have that opportunity every day. Do we want to be safe? We want to keep it like, ooh, let's protect me. What if I show up this way and they don't like it, instead of just showing the fuck up?
Yeah.
So,
So true.
mhm.
Even just, when we started this podcast, I I have probably worked through I years ago when I started my business, I never wanted to swear online, but I do swear. And when we started this podcast, both of us were, well, I always did swear then on the podcast, but like we were both, I would say, more reserved,
Oh, yeah.
not as free with what we would say. We
Uh-huh.
were
Mhm.
scripted in, like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to say?
Yeah.
And now when we hit record,
We don't
it
know what's
really
coming
is
up.
like, I don't know what it's going to, like, we're just going to start. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know what we're going to say. We're just going to start.
Yeah. I
And
think that's what I said this on this podcast when we started. Like, yeah, I don't know where we're going to start, but magic will flow.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
And it's like always when we can just relax a little bit and trust in ourselves and
Yeah.
be as much as we can be to ourselves.
Mhm.
That is when the magic
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
And we do
100%.
hold ourselves back, but We don't have to have 800 people cheering us on.
No.
Right? Because we have the universe, we have God, we have source, we have spirit, we have angels, we have, there's in any moment, there's going to be people that will cheer us on.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can
And we
find
can cheer
that,
us on too.
and we can too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
And
in
it always
us.
does feel just so much more natural when we show up like ourselves.
Well, people respond to us differently because they feel the authenticity. And
Yes.
when we show up guarded and
Mhm.
not fully who we are, they respond, they feel that insincerity.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know what it is about her, but I don't quite trust her.
Exactly.
You
Well,
know?
and again, if you're not willing to share like some of the, I don't know, the transformational moments, if
Yeah.
we're not willing to share that, and you come on as like a teacher who never makes a mistake, then it does feel very inauthentic because
Yeah.
no one is like that.
Mm-mm.
We don't, so I could stand up here and I could say my life is perfect and my mindset is perfect and I'm so fucking strong that everything goes perfectly for me. I could be that person, but
Liar.
who would listen to me because I would be full of shit.
Well, you would. And then it's almost like people could feel like, fuck, what's wrong with me that I can't get it together like that? When the reality of it is, we never fully get it together. We're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
But we can feel when we're on the path by the way we feel. And when we've got that thing that bumps up against us, it's just for clarity and focus and maybe to move us to where we need to be. There was
Yeah.
another quote, and it's, the detour I sent you was actually an upgrade.
Oh,
And we discount the
I
things we deem bad or wrong. We get in that fear mode of going, oh, my life is falling apart. And
Mhm.
God is over there, or the universe or angels or whatever, and going, dude, I'm helping you out. Like, I sent you a detour.
Yeah.
You were going in a direction you didn't want to go, and I was redirecting you. And instead of being excited and, oh, what does this detour mean? You're over there belly aching and whining and not living your life.
Yeah.
Snap out of it.
Yeah.
They're begging us to snap out of it.
Like Cam says, right? The angels are out. Just ask the angels for
They're
help. They're
bored.
bored, wondering why the fuck you're not asking them for
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh,
So
I love it. I need those 2 quotes. Can you
I
send them
will,
to me?
I will send those to you
Okay.
because, yes.
Awesome. I love them.
Okay. This is funny. Okay. Well, it looks like we are out of time. FYI, this would be episode 99. So you know what that means for next week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
100th episode
Yes.
Palooza. It's going
Palooza.
to be so I can't wait. I can't wait.
So I'm excited about that. But
Mm.
thank you, Sandra. This was amazing. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy F Hour. Bye.
Bye.